The 2026 tech landscape is moving faster than ever, with a relentless stream of new hardware, software, and subscription choices. The industry has pivoted toward a model where hardware functions as an entry point for multi-year behavioral and financial requirements. Look at the announcements from this week alone: $0 iPhones from T-Mobile, AirPods credits from Apple, 1,000 Hz displays from LG, and a massive pivot into mixed reality from Google. This quadrant chart plots these exact announcements based on their upfront cost versus their feature impact. The items in the top right corner, the ones promising the highest impact, also carry the steepest hidden secondary costs. To see if these upgrades are actually worth it, we are going to run the objective return on investment math on the 4 biggest decisions in the market right now. Navigating this year's tech requires looking past the sticker price to calculate the mandatory ecosystem commitment. Consider Apple's new credit card promotion, which offers the AirPods Pro 3 for $0 through a series of statement credits. To earn that payout, you have to make 10 distinct purchases with your Apple Card every month for 10 consecutive months. This table breaks down the cost of ownership if you have to adjust your daily spending to hit that quota. If you make 5 extra $10 purchases each month just to reach the minimum, you've spent $500 over the year. You've effectively paid double the retail price to earn a free item. T-Mobile is using a similar mechanic with their offer for a free iPhone 17 when you switch carriers. The input here is a mandatory 24-month contract on their premium Experience Beyond or Experience More data plans. This chart compares 24 months of that mandatory premium service against buying the iPhone outright and taking it to a budget carrier. The independent route stops hundreds of dollars lower than the T-Mobile bar. That difference is what you're paying for that free phone. This deal only yields a positive return if you already require premium unlimited data. If you don't, taking the hardware results in a net loss. Free hardware in 2026 functions like a high-interest loan, paid back through forced spending habits and inflated service contracts. The math gets even more complex with performance gear. Take LG's native 1,000 Hz gaming monitor. At a sub-1 millisecond response time, the advantage in competitive gaming is absolute visual fluidity. However, generating over 1,000 frames every single second requires a monumental level of computational power. This flowchart traces the hardware pipeline needed to actually utilize a 1,000 Hz signal. The system hits a wall at the GPU. You need a top-tier card like an RTX 5090 just to supply enough data for the monitor. Then there is the biological limit. Research shows aggressive diminishing returns in human visual processing once you push past 500 Hz. We see a similar premium squeeze in services, with Sony raising PlayStation Plus prices by 10 to 14%. This forces subscribers to subsidize rising server costs and next-gen research, while the service offers less dollar-for-dollar value than Xbox Game Pass. Bleeding-edge hardware and premium services often demand compounding secondary investments that the average user's experience may not mathematically justify. The focus shifts from individual gadgets to entire digital lifestyles as Google and Apple battle for control of the AI assistant market. This matrix contrasts the 2 fundamentally different strategies being used to capture the spatial computing market. Android XR uses an open design starting at $300. Apple Vision Pro is a closed system beginning at $3,500. The engine is the key differentiator. Google is relying on the native integration of Gemini 2.5 Pro, while Apple has to prove Siri can finally close the gap. The risk with Google is fragmentation, betting your money on a network of hardware partners rather than a single unified design. The risk with Apple is whether their upcoming on-device AI can actually match the capabilities of modern large language models. These developer conferences will determine which mega ecosystem controls how we interact with ambient computing. In this race, the AI's ability to parse real-time information dictates the platform's long-term utility far more than the resolution of the lenses. To wrap this up, let's map out recommendations based on your specific priorities using this audience scorecard. For the deal seeker, the T-Mobile and Apple Card offers get a take action checkmark. However, you should only accept these if your existing habits already meet the spending requirements. If they don't, the free item is a trap. For the competitive optimizer, the LG 1,000 Hz monitor gets an X. Unless you are a professional esports athlete with a top-tier GPU, 360 Hz is the most logical ceiling for a gaming budget. For the ecosystem investor, both Google and Apple platforms are on hold. We recommend freezing all hardware purchases until both companies explicitly reveal their AI software capabilities later this summer. When the market is engineered for lock-in, ruthlessly doing the math is your only defense against a bad investment.